Welcome to EUTV. I'm Peter Johnson. I'm joined by Sports Union Committee member and Executive Committee Award winner at the recent Sports Union Awards, Fergus Mckenzie. Thank you for joining me, Fergus.
Always my pleasure.
You just explain for us a little bit what it was that your award was for.
So it was the sort of Executive Committee Award, which is basically given out to, I think it's roughly around 8 people per year who may be sort of volunteering a lot of time, maybe pushing development of clubs. And in my sense, it's sort of working with the intramural program and helping to develop that and deliver the program as best as possible.
So I think just let's go right back to the start, I think, and just kind of work through how you've ended up in this position on the committee on the sports union. Just ask you a little bit about that. So you're in your 5th year now at Edinburgh doing mechanical engineering. So have you always been involved in sport in that time at the university?
Yeah, so when I first came to university many years ago, there was a sort of introductory. We had like these massive maths lectures where there's like 400 people in there, and then on maybe the first or second one, a guy popped up at the front, clearly not the lecturer, very much a student, and he basically was like, "Look, I'm starting a rugby club for engineering." And I kind of, I'd been playing a bit of rugby already, and I was interested to play something a bit casual as well on the side. And he sort of went, "Look, we're going to have a training session on the meadows. You're all welcome." And I instantly turned to my mate and I was like, "That's what I'm about. Let's go." And so sort of from there, it was kind of turned up at that session. Sort of through my first year was just being a player, and then into my second year, I actually became president of that rugby club. And then basically from there, it sort of, I think I caught the attention of someone at the SU who kind of roped me into sort of helping out on the SU side of things. So I then became in my third year the sort of rugby officer for the rugby league and intramural. So there's about 6 teams on average. So it's basically just helping to run that, making sure everything goes smoothly. And then into my 4th year, I became vice president of intramural sport, and then I've then again carried on that role this year. So basically, I've ever so slowly been getting more and more roped in, but no, it's been really good, and it's nice to have gone from someone who's been a player to now be able to sort of be in a position where I can actually help improve the program I've really enjoyed being a part of, and try and make changes where I've seen maybe issues before, and really try and push through some benefit.
So do you still play intramural, or do you take, well, perhaps not this year, obviously, but do you generally take a far more administrative side, like over the last few years?
Yeah, so I don't actually play much rugby now because I'm playing outside a bit. So I'm more, I always don't want to play too much rugby. I don't want to play 2 or 3 games a week. So I do still play some intramural. I quite enjoy playing sort of intramural hockey on a Friday night, which is a good laugh, and it's mixed hockey, so it's very relaxed. Honestly, just turning up for the crack for an hour and then going home, and I think that's what really, for me, is the real benefit of something like intramural, because it's so relaxed and so open. There's at times in that sort of intramural league, you've got people who are complete beginners that don't even know which side of the stick to use, through to people who've played once hockey. So it's remarkable just how accessible it is for so many different people.
Have you come up with any kind of original kind of ideas, original things you could do? Because obviously in the absence of being able to do physical games, physical fixtures, have you had any alternative kind of social events, things like that?
I haven't really, as the intramural thing, been pushing that. The issue we almost have the intramural is it's kind of like it is individual teams that then exist within the structure of what we have, but we have been very keen to push just sort of helping teams out, trying to sort of, as I said, smooth over issues that maybe in the past, like last year, a lot of it was like firefighting and trying to solve issues that were coming up then and there, and the fixture wasn't getting played, or someone hadn't turned up, or something like that. So a lot of last year was spending doing that. So this year it's been a lot of like, what's the bigger picture? Feeding back to teams, speaking to teams. Teams have always said that maybe they don't understand this aspect, or it'd be nice to know how maybe they could get a relationship with player layer, and it's not been easy, and I'm certainly in a position where there's only so much I can do because they're individual teams. But it's been good to see what others within the intramural program have been doing. And if I was going to mention a team, it's maybe our recent winner of the intramural, or the vice president's trophy, or what we also call the intramural award sometimes. And the history boys have done Scotsman to Scotsman challenge, and that was just incredible. I have to say that's a really good example of how sort of engaging intramural can be. And I think they had 40 boys taking part, and they raised a great amount of money for a really good charity. So really well done to them.
Yeah, we've spoken about that before, actually. Spoken to them. That was an incredible endeavour. Hopefully we'll see a bit more of that over the summer. I don't know how long this lockdown's going to last, so it'd be great to see more of that. In terms of just intramural as a whole then, as we've touched on, it is an absolute massive, diverse, covering so many sports, so many different teams, that sort of thing. And you're kind of, the vice president of all that. How many people or like how many teams are you actually responsible for then?
So last year as I came in from Virgin fourth year, there was about 1,500 people taking part, and I want to say about 150 teams. And then through my fourth year, one of the big pushes I was working on was trying to increase membership, trying to increase the number of teams taking part. And I think I got it up to about 2,000 towards the end of the fourth year, and about 172 teams. And then this year, obviously, there were certain sports that we haven't even considered opening for entry, just because it was indoor sports are absolutely not a possibility, and the same with something like rugby. But we've still managed to get 162 teams, so that's only maybe half our capacity of sport. So it's definitely looking like we were in the region of maybe 180, maybe even more than that for teams this year if we were a full setup and allowed to sort of let everyone enter. So it's just been pushing the number, and it's the sort of development plan I'm working on is sort of looking at maybe having up to 240, 250 teams within 3 to 4 years. So we're definitely hitting big numbers, but it's really interesting to see just how much it grows and just how much people want to get involved with intramural.